It was a cold November night in the sleepy town of Pine Hollow when Heather Monroe, a 22-year-old college student, vanished without a trace. Heather had been on her way home from a late shift at the diner. She never made it home. Pine Hollow was a place where everyone knew everyone, a town unaccustomed to the shadows of violent crime. But this case would change everything. What began as a missing persons report soon unraveled into a chilling tale of deception, betrayal, and murder. This is the story of Heather Monroe and the relentless pursuit of justice by a small-town police department. November 14th, 2022 started like any other day for Heather Monroe. She clocked out at 10:30 p.m. and called her mother to say she was heading home, but Heather never arrived. When Heather's car was found abandoned on a desolate road the following morning, panic spread through the town. The driver's side door was ajar, her purse was still in the car, and her phone was smashed on the ground. But Heather was nowhere to be found. The Pine Hollow Police Department, led by Detective Sarah Connors, sprang into action. The search began immediately. People don't just vanish, Sarah told reporters, but the more they searched, the more questions arose. Where could Heather have gone, and why? As days turned into weeks, the investigation intensified. The first break in the case came from surveillance footage taken at the diner. Heather had left work alone, but in the grainy footage, a dark sedan could be seen pulling out of the parking lot just moments after she drove away. Detective Connors and her team traced the car's make and model to a local resident, a man named Eric Blake. Eric was a quiet mechanic with no criminal record. When questioned, Eric claimed he'd been home that night, but something about his story didn't add up. Meanwhile, forensic experts examined Heather's car. A single strand of hair, not hers, was found on the driver's seat. It was a small clue, but it hinted that Heather hadn't been alone. Detective Connors knew they were missing something crucial. Witnesses from the diner recalled seeing Heather arguing with someone on the phone a few days before she disappeared. Her best friend Lisa revealed that Heather had been dating someone in secret, a man named Kyle Brennan. Kyle was married. Confronted by police, Kyle admitted to the affair, but insisted he hadn't seen Heather on the night she vanished. However, his alibi didn't check out. Security footage from a gas station showed Kyle driving toward Pine Hollow late that night. Detective Connors had two suspects, but no body and no solid evidence. Then a hunter discovered a shallow grave in the woods outside of town. Inside was Heather's lifeless body, bruised and strangled. This was now a murder investigation. The discovery of Heather's body brought new urgency to the case. Forensic analysis of the gravesite revealed a cigarette butt containing Eric Blake's DNA. Detective Connors now faced a puzzle. Why was Eric's DNA at the scene when Kyle Brennan seemed to have the stronger motive? The answer came when police obtained Eric's phone records. On the night of Heather's disappearance, Eric had received multiple calls from an unknown number, Kyle Brennan's burner phone. Kyle had hired Eric to help him send a message to Heather. What was supposed to be an intimidation tactic had gone horribly wrong. With enough evidence to connect both men to Heather's murder, police moved quickly. Eric was arrested first and, under pressure, confessed to his role in the crime. He claimed Kyle had promised him money to scare Heather into leaving town. But Eric insisted he hadn't meant to kill her. It had been an accident. Kyle, meanwhile, denied everything. But the evidence against him was overwhelming. Phone records, bank transactions, and Eric's testimony painted a damning picture of a man desperate to protect his secret. The trial captivated Pine Hollow. In the end, Eric received 25 years for his role in the murder, while Kyle was sentenced to life without parole. For Heather's family, the verdict brought a measure of closure, but the pain of losing their daughter would never fade. The murder of Heather Monroe shattered the peace of Pine Hollow, leaving behind a community forever changed. But it also highlighted the determination of Detective Connors and her team, who refused to let a killer walk free. Heather's story is a reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk beneath even the most ordinary of places. While justice was served, the memory of Heather Monroe lives on, a bright light extinguished too soon. Thank you for joining us for this episode of True Crime Chronicles. Remember to stay vigilant and cherish the ones you love, because you never know what secrets may lie in the shadows.